And now behold the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station. Pew! 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 Oh yes, I'm afraid this base station is quite armed and operational. Or at least that's what Emperor Palpatine would say. So yes, welcome everyone. We are here back at Planet Nomads, of course, and I am basically done with the design. I think at this point there's a few cosmetic things that maybe I could do a little better if I spent a lot more time just testing a dozen different ideas and maybe get something looking a little bit better. But for the most part, I'm gonna go ahead and call it done. And we're just gonna start and work our way from the top down. So this video is more for those of you who haven't been following the full series on everything that's been done with this. If you've been following the series, you're gonna see most of what you've already witnessed. This is basically just like I would do with any other design, a guide walkthrough kind of video for the design itself, despite the lag that we are going to see with it. But coming in, we have our access stairs leading up to the topmost control tower section, the area where we control everything. You see we have nice control panels, the view down for the landing pads for larger vehicles, which I have tested. The Black Toad will fit just barely. So if you're going to be using some longer vehicles, you might want to put some longer platforms in, which won't take much, just, you know, another layer or two. We of course have our piloting seat here with some of the control panels just for decoration, but if you want to use them, feel free to go ahead. Next level down is the second control area, the lower one for the interior hangar bays, and we have this kind of nice control panel section here. Of course, you could pilot from these, though it is not recommended, because if you pilot from the wrong ones, you're going to be probably driving a little bit weirdly, and you're just not going to be able to get the right visual for how you're lining things up. But yes, we do have lights in here. Everything is on a switch, and we've got nice power view. It's just basically the cosmetics of having a control tower for the logistics area, which is what's the hangar bay outside area is used for. So 4 hangar bays, 2 of them are going to have 4 containers each, 2 on each side. They are connected in, and then 2 hangar bays will have just simply 1 container per side. So you have room for slightly taller vehicles that might need a little bit of space when they're maneuvering in. And of course, if you want, the attachment is there, you just place another one replicating across like the other ones if you want to add additional storage on any of these. So you can replicate down. You could always then also replicate further down and basically have just the entire wall be nothing but storage right there, if you don't really care to have any smaller vehicles parked inside the hangar bays. In the middle on each hangar bay, there is a connection point there that you can feed out and towards the middle of the upper floor area if you want to build with conveyors coming down to the vehicle parked here, or if you want to put in a conveyor ceiling panel to connect upwards. Say with the Black Toad landing, you want to be able to have a spot for it to park and have a conveyor connector that attaches up above into a chain for here, so everything ties in to, once again, the central conveyor and production system. And you see here, I've left a piece already in place, but incomplete. So I only have this one. The others are going to be left open for anyone that downloads and uses this to customize as they wish. Next floor down is the common room area, where we have, as you come in, you have an option of the cafe, which has basically a fridge of sorts put together. We also have nice decorative plants, but of course you can also use those for other production value. We have nice little storage there if you want to just specifically put your food in there. We have our autonomous water purifiers, 4 of them on this level. All 4 of them are set to 999,999 water, and as far as I remember, that should carry over in the blueprint. So when it does, you will be able to then just let them go, not have to worry about them for a long time. And if you still want more plants to harvest, we have plants adorning the area around them. We have these nice little tables, which are done with, of course, the rotor. And if you want, you can always unlock it so that you can then bump them and move them into a different position. Really didn't leave room for a lot in terms of chairs, so there's not going to be any of those. And the lights in the ceiling are the spotlights, which as you can see, gives a very nice full light for most of the level, but it does cause problems on the lower levels that you'll see below if you haven't been following the build series. Then at the back, we have our, living quarters, not so much like living apartments, but more of a hotel for when people come to visit on the space station. They come stay here. They can come in, check in here at the concierge and get a room. And as you see, we have some switches back here. So we have one for some of the lights inside the rooms themselves, so you could turn off all of the room lights. And then we have a door power one to automate the doors, whether you want to be able to walk along here without hearing the doors constantly open. If you want to do that, then you could cut power to all of the doors, and that way when you walk by, you're not going to have that open closing sound happening constantly. Next level down is our production level. This is designed in a way so you have a lot of production power, but you also have the theme of people passing by, people visiting. So we have a couple of armories here. As you come in, we have then 3 pods, red, green, and blue RGB for the actual 3D printers. And each one's basically a bank with its own power. So you can turn them on and off separately if you want to cut down your power consumption to where you're like, I'm not going to be using these for a while. Turn the power off and make sure you're not wasting any power. Also themed in the idea of somebody renting an entire bank for a short while they stay, that they can bring their supplies in and process them here is part of the theme for that. And then here we have our med bays, which is of course so you can produce healing stuff, things like that if you need to, or even the extracted virus if you're out and about and you want to do that. And then we have 4 greenhouses, large greenhouses, all tied in. So you do have a way to manipulate and produce some of the herbs and seeds and things like that you might need for food production in the level above if you really feel like you need to. Which leaves us with the big, important level for power, which you probably, if you've watched the series, I've been working on lately with it. I did originally have uranium and deuterium in this, but I took the uranium out because deuterium produces more power per generator, and it just makes it a lot easier to have one type of fuel instead of 2, because if the uranium ran out, this would fall out of the sky. Wouldn't have enough power to keep going. So by having one fuel type, it means you can produce a lot of it and make sure you're gonna have plenty of time to fly. And you see I have a drop box here and a drop box on the other side for deuterium, and then we have our whole set of refineries for producing plenty of deuterium, or of course if you want to, uranium, whatever you need to produce down here. Outside of each of these levels, doors, you will find switches for controlling everything, anything from, in this case, the main power, to air blade power, to lights for the floor, to the whole production chain. In some cases, the production chain will feed off of a single power switch out here, just so you can turn every bit of production off on the floor if you need to save power, or you're just gonna land this somewhere for a extended period of time, you just don't want to have it running. And that leaves us the bottom level, which is the maintenance level, the place where somebody comes to jump outside, do some work. Even though you can fly out from the landing pads and hangar bays up above, it's easy access for down below. So we do have a door over here to serve as like a maintenance hatch. We have controls on the outside. We also have the inside green lightsaber beacon. If you want to turn it off or take it out, just do so. It does go through the solid blocks of the floor, so maybe some of you might not like that. We also have the lower anchor point for our interior conveyor system that goes through all the floors in the middle of the stairwell, and a mount for outside where you can connect something below if you want to do, say, water pumps, or just have this where it can stop by and connect to another base for a short period of time. We do have a utility power switch here to power anything that you need to, that you connect below, such as the water pumps I mentioned. We also have, of course, our beacon light or power. We have interior light power, and then we have, let's see, I think this was the radar dish comms array. Yes. So that will give you the, if you want to use the radars, you can. If you just want to keep them for cosmetic, you can turn them off, keep them from spinning. Then we have a second cockpit down here for the purpose that when you are trying to lower this to water level for production need, or you are trying to actually connect it in somewhere, it's going to be a pain if you don't have a way to zoom out the right spot and look at this. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. It's just a quick look at the design. The design is going to be done. As far as I am going to take it, I am going to put it up on the workshop, so there'll be a link in the description below for it on the workshop. Take it, play with it, customize it how you want. Just be warned that it is going to be a heftier design. You're going to need a little bit stronger system. And while this works okay for me, there are designs on the workshop that I've run on my games and tried to load and completely locked the game up and was unplayable. This is still at least somewhat playable for me. So your mileage may vary depending on how good your hardware specs are. But just fair warning, it may cause some problems if you're on a lower end system. But like I said, that's it for the video. That's it for this design. As far as my work on it, we're going to just take it out and take it for actual use period and play with it and start building up some more of the designs I was building to go with it. But again, link in the description below if you want to check it out. And if you like the video, if you liked watching me build this up in the past few episodes, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I'll see you in the next video.